Hi there, welcome back to the Headbangers Ball. We're out on the road in Germany, and throughout the show we're going to be playing you some great German bands, and a little bit later on we're going to be meeting up with Accept to find out all their news. But right now we are on tour with Saxon and Motorhead, Bombers and Eagles and 92, and I'm very pleased to say that Biff and Graham have joined me on the Headbangers Ball. We're backstage right now, and welcome to you guys. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Very good. You just arrived from Heathrow. Excellent.
Now, Metallica have got a song out at the moment called Wherever I May Roam, and the lyric goes, wherever I lay my head is home. And I kind of think that you guys can probably relate to that song sort of 100%. You spend so much time out on the road, right?
Yeah, I would think most rock bands can relate to that sort of song. We've written them ourselves, really. Yeah, it's a good sort of subject, you know. Wouldn't do if everybody wrote about it.
Because you guys have toured with Motorhead before, haven't you, Graham?
In 1979, and then we've done festivals in England and Germany in the mid-80s. Yeah, long time.
So you're good friends. Now, Germany is probably a good place for you guys to start your tour, because your last LP, Solid Ball of Rock, did extremely well over here. What are your kind of expectations of these shows?
Very good. It's a good package for the kids, you know, Motorhead and Saxon together, and support band Rage, I think. Yeah, it's just a good thing. I mean, last year was really our sort of comeback album in Germany. It did, you know, it went top 20. This album is doing about the same numbers, so obviously we go on and on now. So it's looking really good. You know, we're excited about the tour.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about your new album, Forever Free, and it's obviously got a sort of biking theme to it. Why does biking continue to inspire you to write songs?
I think it's me, really, because I like motorcycles, you know. I've just bought a new Harley Davidson Electroglide.
Wow.
So, you know, I'm always into bikes, and always have been, and probably always will be. So when it comes to the lyric side of it, I like to get it in. It's not specifically about biking, it's about feeling free.
Yes.
But you know, the way I do the chorus, it's wind in your hair, it moves to biking. Yes. You know, if Graham writes a fast riff, which he did in this instance, then sometimes I'll put a biking sort of lyric to it, you know. So I think it's good for Saxon to get back to biking songs, you know. I thought we went away from the biking a little bit because we did so many songs about it. We thought we were getting boring, but obviously we weren't.
But as you say, it's as much like a feeling and an emotion as it is actually being specifically on that subject.
Yeah, I think if you're into motorcycles, you don't have to own a motorcycle to be into motorcycles.
Right.
I mean, it's much the same as like owning a horse, I suppose. You know, you can look at horses and think they're great and they're free, you know, and all this sort of thing. So I think it's just a feeling that people connect with, and it connects with rock and roll, you know.
Of course, of course. Now, Graham, you recorded the album in Vienna, which is kind of not a typical rock and roll location. Why did you decide to do that, and did the city have any influence on you?
It was just a nice place to go, basically, to record an album, and we spent about 3 months there, just driving around on off days in the mountains, and it was fun to do. You know, it's a musical city, the history and heritage of it, and the studio was available, so there were no great reasons why we did it. Just thought it'd be neat, basically.
Was it kind of relaxing there?
Yeah, very relaxing, too relaxing in fact. You know, it was summer, you see, so it was really, I mean, it's a really great place to go in the mountains and everything. But we did half the album in England, you see. We did the first, because the album, we wanted the album to be very raw, very exciting, so we recorded the basic tracks straight away when we wrote the songs. You know, if we wrote the songs on Tuesday, then Nigel and Nibs and one of the guitarists would lay the track down on tape, probably on Friday.
Right.
So it sort of gives you a feel. It's very similar to what we did in the early days on Wheels of Steel and things.
Right.
So it retains the, perhaps not quite as, you know, as sophisticated a sound as maybe some bands like, but we like that sort of raw sound, and that's what we're trying to move back to.
Good. Okay.
We think that's, you know, you can lose the attitude of the band really easy.
is rocking backstage at the Eberthalle in Ludwigshafen, Germany, and you just saw a little bit of Saxon live. And Biff and Graham are still with me in the dressing room here, and we're talking about their new album, Forever Free. And you guys actually produced the album yourselves, which kind of suggested to me that you had like a very clear vision even before you went in to record what it was going to be.
Well, we basically don't trust anybody else now. We've used producers in the past, and it hasn't really sounded like we wanted, apart from Solid Ball of Rock. So we decided to do it ourselves, really, simple as that.
Okay.
You know, we didn't want to pay some American sort of dickhead a huge sum of money to tell us how to play English rock and roll, basically. So we did it ourselves. You know.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Now, it seems that we were saying earlier that you guys spend a great deal of time out on the road, but looking at the lyrics on the album, it seems that you also kind of spend a lot of time thinking about home, and that you're very sort of proud of your sort of heritage, and you have a loyalty towards that. Is that true?
That's very true. I mean, we've been asked to live in various parts of the world. In fact, encouraged to do it many times. And we've always said that, you know, we'd live in England, because obviously we're English. And it means a lot to us, musically and everything else-wise, really. I mean, we just like being English. You know.
It also seems, Graham, that on the album that you pay tribute more to your roots, because you do a cover version of "I Just Wanna Make Love to You." Why did you decide to, is that why you decided to do it, to sort of get through to the blues style more?
Not really, we just banding tracks about and we just jamming that track, and it sounded good, so we decided to do it, basically. I mean, we were going to cover a Jimi Hendrix tune, but Skid Row and other people were doing it.
Right, yeah.
So maybe we'll leave that while next, because we have learnt about 3 to do. And so we'd like to do one that somebody hasn't done before, but no, it was just fun to do, so we did it, basically.
Well, we do have quite, I mean, the guitarists are very blues-orientated, though, so it did suit us quite well.
One of the standout cuts on the album is a song, a ballad called Iron Wheels, another historical song, and it's very timely considering the problems in the coal industry in the UK at the moment. But actually, I felt that the song had a much broader meaning than that, that it can reflect everybody's lives.
Yeah, it reflects, I mean, I actually wrote the lyrics 2 years ago.
Really?
So it's just a coincidence that it dropped on with the coal mining thing, but it's really a song about specifically about the area of England where we come from, which is Yorkshire, and it's much the same in all parts of England. You know, the industry dying out, but with the industry, a lot of communities, you know, sort of what we call villages,
Yes.
you know, sort of die with it, and people move in, you know, stockbrokers and things. So it's not the same. You know, I was born in a farming village. You know, and a coal mining village next door. So I feel that part of history in England is changing.
Yes.
And, you know, what my father was in and his father was in. And Graham, everybody's really in England. And much the same in Germany, I would think.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what the song's about, really. It's about, you know, something dying that's not being replaced.
Right.
So you're right, it is a lot wider song. People are picking up on it more now because it specifically mentions, you know, the iron wheels which are on top of the cages and things. But it's more of a, you know, overall song.
So there you go, Iron Wheels, a song to look out for on Forever Free, and another band that deal with subjects relating to today's society is New York hardcore band Biohazard. We met up with them at the Concrete Foundations Forum in Los Angeles, and these guys have got their debut album out, and we're going to see the first video right now. The album's called Urban Discipline, and here's the video. Check it out. Definitely a band to watch out for in the future. That was New York hardcore band Biohazard making their debut on the Headbangers Ball tonight. And Biohazard are currently out on tour with top German thrashers Creator right across Europe. And in fact, we have got a brand new Creator video coming up a little bit later on. So watch out for that. And of course, we're out on the road in Germany, and we've got a little bit more time to talk to Saxon on the opening night of the Motorhead Saxon European Tour. And Biff and Graham are still here, and we're talking about their new album. Now, I was wondering, do you attribute part of your success to the fact that you've tended to sort of stay above or rise above trends, and that you've always sort of forged your own furrow, so to speak?
Yeah, I think we've. I think more than any other band over the last 10 years, we've tried to experiment a little bit more. But we have stayed sort of true to what we originally set out being, although we've come in for a lot of flack because of that. A lot of flack, yeah. You know, we always wanted to mix the heavy metal with the melodic vocal. You know, that's what we always intended to do. So I think we've stayed true to that, yeah. And I think now that we're sort of having you know, quite a large resurgence, I think it stands us in good stead now, because people can listen to our albums back, you know, and they can get the pattern all the way through. We haven't suddenly jumped and gone sort of like Minneapolis sound or something, you know. Sticking firmly.
I was wondering, Graham, how do you feel about your profile in the UK? Because you have a German record deal, don't you? So how do you feel it is for you in the UK?
It's not been very good for the last 5 years, because kids in America and Europe tend to follow their own musical heritage and what they listen to. Because in Germany you might see Candy touring, and the same kids, you know, are going to the Metallica concert the day after. But in England they seem to follow trends more, and I think a lot of there's some great English talent. Thunder Almighty, lots of great bands who, in my opinion, don't get a good shake of the stick, and I think that's been happening for the last 5 years.
I absolutely agree there. What do you think, Biff, about, do you agree with Graham out there about the scene in the UK?
I think the English press is very fickle, and it has been for the last sort of, you know, last 5 years. Maybe not as, maybe 5 years, I would say definitely 3 years. And it seems to have got into a sort of college kid, you know, slam 'em, thank 'em, bam 'em, and if you end up at a party with them and buy them drinks, you get a great review. And it didn't used to be like that when we first started, because there used to be some great rock journalists who were trained as journalists. Now it seems to be, I don't know now, because it seems to be getting a little bit better now, because a lot of the dross has been fired. So, you know, I think when you're a music critic, you're there to give your opinion on the music, not personal lives or, you know, what the drummer's wife's doing or anything else. You know, I think you're there for the music, and if you can give great critical, you know, reviews or whatever, I think it's fine. But I think English press tend to base everything on, you know, it's a joke, you know, and it's their own music, so their own music becomes a joke. So the people who write about it, to me, become a joke. There's no real serious journalism in sort of the English rock magazines at the moment.
That's an interesting point. Are you going to be going over to play some shows in the UK eventually?
Yeah, we're starting putting the tour together now for February, late February, March. We have to go to South America and the rest of Europe, so it's squeezing it in really. But we will definitely be touring. We've already done about 4 or 5 charity shows, sort of low-key type things. We did one last week.
Yes.
So, you know, we are keeping in there. But I think we'd like to come back in and do quite a large tour this time, wouldn't we? Probably bring the Eagle and everything, you know, sort of waste loads of money and things.
I would have liked for this kind of tour to go in England, because it's in America they've been doing Guns N' Roses, Metallica. I think the double bill now is a good ticket, and that could be the thing to happen in England. It'd be excellent if it did.
Maybe you'll be the first people to bring a good double bill like that over.
Maybe we'll talk to Lemmy about it, you know.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for taking time out on your opening night of the tour to talk to us. I really appreciate it. Nice to see you guys, and good luck with the rest of the tour. And maybe we'll catch up with you again in the UK.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're waiting for that video.
Yeah, we'll send it to you, hot foot. And we'll come down and do an interview as well. How's that for you? Well, in fact, we'll take over the place.
Okay. Well, there you are. Okay, we've got another commercial break coming up on this special edition of the Headbangers Ball from Germany, and then after that I'm going to be back talking to Motorhead, but playing us into the break, we're going to give you another taster of Saxon live on stage here at the Eberthalle in Ludwigshafen. Take a look, and I'll see you later.